Everyone, welcome to HOA Fight Club. I'm Raylene Schifano. I am sorry for my missing in action lately, but I've been super busy with budgets and elections and everything that comes with the end of the year meetings that happen in HOA associations. There's lots of homeowners who don't understand what their governing documents say and the process and budget. So let's start with annual meetings that are coming up. You should have already had probably most of them. Everybody's probably, most of them are done in a fiscal year, which is, January to December. So anyways, that is what the annual meeting is supposed to be about, is for the elections and the budgets to happen. Now, there has to be certain notices and everything is depending on your bylaws. So if you're confused of how your association is supposed to run, you really need to go to your bylaws and check those out and read them and understand them and what the process is. There's also the state laws that you need to understand how notifications are supposed to be sent, which state laws supersede the other state laws, and which ones count and which ones don't. And I know they've confused the American homeowners, so we don't even know which laws are what. And even if we did know what laws apply, how do they apply with the bylaws? And everybody in the government seems to want the homeowners to be so educated on all of these rules as they go to enforce these rules on us. And yet we're all just volunteers in these associations. So I was watching a video on the Dalton community of Chicago and how I know that the mayor there was and still is being contested. And what I did notice was that there was not the laws there to protect the community. So the community is in chaos. They want to know where their money is being spent. They know that the money is being misspent. There's lots of allegations of misconduct here. And yet there is nothing being done because nobody has any power. Now, this community has come together and they had a recall. So this is not a community that took this lightly. This is a community that actually got together. They enacted a recall. They actually voted to recall the mayor, and the recall was denied. It was null and void. And so it just shows that these HOA communities are so much like our communities. We have a mayor and a town council and a trustees and all of this kind of stuff. And that's the same that our communities run. We have a mayor, which is our president, and we have the board of directors. And yet there's no accountability if these people do something wrong. And the problem is, and it's kind of like the mayor on this side, she gets sued all the time for the misconduct. And all it does is take the money from the taxpayers' dollars to defend the lawsuits against the mayor. So when you're sued the same way, if you sue your association, it's kind of the same way. You're suing yourselves, you're suing your own tax dollars. Your tax dollars go to defending those people, and then it just bogs down everybody because nothing's getting done. There should have been a removal. There should be a vote. I mean, this community has shown up to contest it, and yet there's nothing they can do to get rid of this mayor. And so I think the HOA system is really like the Chicago system. This mayor in this town of Dalton, there's just nothing that the government or the oversight can do. There's no oversight. So there's nobody doing anything about the problem. And she's robbing, they're showing Lori Lightfoot came in and showed that there was just tons of money being spent at Amazon. I think there was a $33,000 charge one day. NBC Chicago did a great article on this, a whole YouTube thing. So I highly suggest, and I'll try to put that whole thing on there, but you'll see how the community came together. The residents got involved. They educated themselves. They voted. They showed up to the meetings. They protested, and they are still being held hostage in their community, and they can't get free. And I think that that's where we're at with a lot of the HOA communities. To vote out a budget in most of the United States, you have to have 51% of the owners show up to vote. Now, what I notice is that most of these budget meetings are happening right on the holidays. I mean, Thanksgiving week, I think, is where I've seen a lot of the budget meetings happening. And the week of Christmas is all these meetings. The annual meetings are happening during the holidays. And so people aren't home. They're not able to attend. They don't get the notices because they're traveling. It's just such a con on the people to think that they want to, if they do want to make change, you make it as difficult as you can. I myself am a director at a corporation, and I was denied the right to go to the board meetings just 2 weeks ago. And I am supposed to be a nominee for the board of the HOA that this corporation is in, and I can't even get the information. They won't send it to me. They won't acknowledge me. So how do I fight the system when the system is broken? There should be nobody. The property manager shouldn't have the right to deny people into a meeting. If the homeowner is not, or the owner is not supposed to be in that meeting, they should be able to go to that meeting, show up, and then the board has to vote to determine why they can't be at the meeting. Who's the property manager and the attorney to tell people what they can and can't do in these corporations that are supposed to be self-managed and still self-maintained? We're not supposed to need a property manager and attorney. We're supposed to be able to run these corporations ourselves. We are the corporate owners of this corporation. And yet we have property managers denying rights, denying deeds, denying everything because the attorney told them to do. So really, it's the professionals that are holding these communities hostage. And we can't get meetings. We can't, I mean, I've called a special meeting before and I was told it's never going to happen. So, and this corporation that I am a part of owns 47% of the HOA. I mean, it's insanity to think that we don't have a say in our communities, but there is no say when you have these professionals that all they have to do is, even when even when the ombudsman is investigating, who do they talk to? They don't talk to the people making the complaint. They talk to the people, the attorney and the property manager. Well, what's that property manager going to say? Oh, yeah, no, we totally messed up and we totally did it. No, they're going to lie because they're covering up for the board that they're covering up for, or the attorney's telling them to do something. And they shouldn't be able to break the law because an attorney tells them that they're able to do that. If that attorney told you to keep me from that meeting, that's unethical, and that attorney should be reprimanded for the actions they're taking. Now, I'm not a lawyer, and I never profess to be a lawyer. I profess to teach people what's happening. I am a whistleblower. I am telling people that this is going on, that our communities are being robbed from us blind. We are being robbed blind in our communities. This is why I don't agree with what the government is doing to enact better laws. They're not looking at it from our point of view. They're looking at it from the industry's point of view. And when does the industry become the predator? They are the predator. They are the predator. This mayor of Dalton, I believe she's a predator. I mean, the way she's acting towards the community and not even giving them a voice, and yet she'll probably get voted in. We'll see. I just, how do we make a difference if our voices aren't heard, if our votes aren't counted? I've I've been part of recalls that we've recalled the board. We've attempted to do it, but the votes aren't validated. There's missing votes everywhere. And I'm seeing this as we're going through this season now through annual budgets and elections. I'm seeing the same things happen. I had people contest a budget and they just are ignored when they're contesting these budgets. And it's not just about what happens at the budget meeting. It happens with what is done before the budget meeting. The notices. If the state law requires certain things to be put in those budget notices and those notices don't have those required items, if a homeowner brings that to the board's attention or the property manager's attention, they should have to redo the notices and do them appropriately and properly because that's the state law. But no, they know that you'll have to take them to court and they don't have to do anything. So there's nothing you can do. They know they're protected. They know they don't have to be held accountable because there's nothing you can do as an individual. You have to have all these communities. But what I'm seeing is that even if you do get your communities together, they're still not going to let you go. These professionals and these governance, there's no governance. I mean, we just know that there's no governance. So these professionals know that they can keep control of everything. All they got to do is tie things up in court and say litigation's going on and we can't do anything because there's litigation. It's just nonsense. We should not be paying for litigation in our communities. We should be paying for common area maintenance, not the maintenance of the members. And the members should have the right to have their voices heard, not to be stifled, not to be cut out of board meetings, not to be cut out of annual meetings, not to be cut out of budget meetings, and not to be discounted completely and ignored. And that's where we're at in the United States. And if we don't get a voice pretty soon, these communities will be taken over by the professionals. Over 80%, I think, of the United States is part of an HOA. There's a huge percentage of us. We know that that percentage is huge, and I'm not sure of the exact percentage. I would need my master guru of knowledge, which would be Steve Hovarth of HOA United, to tell me all the statistics, but I'm sure he could if you have those kind kind of questions. But we need to realize that these are having huge impacts on our communities, that these communities are not thriving. They're not staying up to the property values that are being promised. They're in debt. They're in destruction. They're in disrepair. They're not being managed the way they're supposed to be doing, and we have no oversight. So as long as that's going to happen and the legislators ignore the fact that the industry is creating the laws to benefit them and not benefit the homeowners, we're going to be in this same situation for a long, long time. And homeowners, you need to show up. You just got to keep showing up, and you have to have your voices heard, and you have to write your legislators, and you have to do what you're supposed to do. I want to thank everyone who has supported HOA Fight Club this year and all your donations. And I want everyone to know that this is the holiday season, and please hug your family and know that that's what's most important. And you are fighting for your sanctuaries. And I understand why you go crazy. You see the frustration in this Dalton community, the anger that is in these communities, and that's what's happening in our communities. Our residents are angry, and we need to do something to stop it. I hope everyone has a happy holidays and a Merry Christmas, and I will see you in the new year. All right, you guys, I'll see you on the next one.